Yes, welcome everyone. It is Wednesday at noon Eastern time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. And if you're watching us live, that is what time it is. Pardon my voice. It's been bad for a while. It's been worse. It's getting better, but this is about as good as it gets as far as today goes. So you just have to deal with it. You find so many places. Of course, we're on Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page. We're also on the YouTube, the old YouTube, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, at Hemptations. You can find us there. Spread the word about hemp as we tell you about hemp. Because if you didn't know, if you've never seen the show before, there's a lot of stuff about hemp in the show. So just a little spoiler alert for you. I am Stoner Jesus. There are various things I do on the interwebs you can check out. He is Beach, the undisclosed location with the awesome shirts behind him. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Well, at least they're warming up a little bit. We are in the dead of the flu season, as you have apparently found out. It's a good raspy voice, though. If you really want to write some music with a raspy voice or something, then that's you got that character down. Welcome everyone to the High Noon Hemp Show. It is noon, high noon. It is Wednesday. We are here. We got a great show again today. A lot of stuff in the hemp world, of course. Remember, though, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Speaking of that, Stoner, do you know what today is?
Well, of course, as I've already mentioned, Beach, it is Wednesday, which is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. But what other day could it be?
Hemp Day! That's right, folks. It's Hemp Day! Welcome. Being Hemp Day, let's go ahead and put our peace signs on our hemp and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. That's right. It's what we believe in. It's what we do here on the High Noon Hemp Show. All the good hemp stuff, including the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. The first one is and I think I showed these recently because they're new, but we just got stocked up on them again because they are doing quite well. These are THC Delta 9 disposables. Again, great price, beats dispensary pricing all day long. That's why they're so mad at us, I guess. So if you need your Delta 9 THC disposable vape, check us out. We've had all the snow. Got to get rid of the snow still, so maybe you need a shovel. How about a hemp shovel? How many people have these? I do. So anyway, again, the whole head is made out of hemp composite, and the handle is made out of hemp composite on this hempy scoop shovel. Great for shoveling anything that you need a flat shovel. Not dirt. Wouldn't be great for dirt, but definitely for shoveling some snow and whatnot. Either way. And then, of course, it's still a little chilly, still a little cold, so maybe you need some gloves, maybe a scarf or a hat or something. So how about some Top Hand glove products? Yeah, we got scarves. We have hats. I don't think the hats are in that picture. You can see the scarves in the picture. The gloves, all the different kinds of gloves in the picture. But we also have like just a regular old school beanie. And then we also have like a deeper beanie with a bill. And this is made more for long hair, dreadlocks, things like that, I think, that you could, tuck up underneath it. So get some good old Top Hand glove products on you before you go out to shovel whatever it is you may be shoveling. And then the last are some high hemp wraps. The high hemp wraps probably started the whole hemp wrap movement, or had a good part. I shouldn't say they started it, but they had a good part in making sure that almost everybody makes hemp wraps. Again, the beauty of this for a wrap is before, you would call it a blunt wrap because it had tobacco in it. These are tobacco free. Tobacco free. It's just hemp paper, which we already know makes for a good rolling paper. And we sell a lot of high hemp wraps, and so I think it makes good for a good wrap as well. Multiple flavors if you want to throw a flavor on it. Good for rolling up your THCA flower that we can supply you as well at Hemptations. All right, there's 4 from the door. The one from my door, this is definitely one of the more rarer, I should say, bags that I have. This is part of my bag collection. I can only guess that if I put all my bags together, I probably have at least 20 different kinds of hemp bags. This is my laundry bag, basically patterned off the old military duffel bags. Where that ended up coming home with soldiers everywhere and becoming laundry bags. I'm pretty sure that that's one thing that definitely gets reused as far as military gear. For the most part, is the reusing of a duffel or laundry bag for laundry bags. And so this is made by Ecolution. Again, Ecolution, back in the day, Ecolution made so many, and this is so old that I think this even still says that it was, no, I think they might have become Pan World. No, I think they were Pan World Traders before they were officially Ecolution. I have to go back and look at the history of that because Pan World Traders was a brand name. And then they kind of added the Ecolution to it. And then the Ecolution products just kind of took over. Either way, and they made everything from shoes to bags to laundry bags to all kinds of products over the years. I think they still exist. I'm not positive, and I have to go check out. But I can only hope. That there's still some Ecolution products getting made out there. It's good stuff. Been around for a long time. So there you have it on the product spotlight, 4 from the store and 1 from my door here on the High Noon Hemp Show.
So, of course, brings us to our amazing, as of yet, award-winning weekly segment, the greatest weekly segment in internet video show history, whether live or recorded. I'll stand by that. Prove me wrong. You can't. See, what we're doing each week is we chronicle Beach's extensive hemp wardrobe. Is it world record setting? We think so. That has not been confirmed yet. As you know, if you've been watching the show recently, each week I like to go to the Guinness World Records Twitter page and see what they have going on, since they are ignoring Beach's several hemp records that he has set. Well, let's see. Did you know that the longest snake in captivity ever was 25 feet and 2 inches? A reticulated python from Kansas City, USA. That's not bad. That's actually pretty cool.
Pretty impressive.
This other one from 6 hours ago. This guy from Turkey achieved the farthest axe throw with a distance of 56 meters, which is over 183 feet. He threw one of those little axes. So that's what the Guinness World Records is worried about, as they ignore the hemp world record holder that's sitting right here, right there.
It's me.
We've done this for over 6.5 years, just talking about the clothes, plus the stuff from the door. They're ignoring us now at their peril. The people will rise up and demand enough of the axe. Okay, he threw an axe 183 feet. That's great. Good for him. But it's not as impressive as the Beach hemp records. And anyway, that is my very, very long-winded way of saying it is time for the Beachwear segment. When I ask Beach what he is wearing, just by asking him a simple question, which is, what are you wearing, Beach?
If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you will know. And I know I referenced my record-breaking record of continuous days um, wearing a hemp shirt. I think I said it was 168. I just recently went back and checked. It was 192. 192 days in a row wearing a different hemp shirt. That's just one. I believe my hat record for wearing a different hemp hat every day was 168 days wearing a different hemp hat every day. So there you have it. And if you're curious now, what are you wearing, Beach? Then, and it's true, head to toe for probably, it's been a long time. On top there is one of my classic, I probably had this hat for 25 years. That's a head case, classic head case hat. My hoodie, zip up hoodie, is a hemp hood lamb, something I have a lot of, hemp hood lamb stuff. My shirt, going back maybe 25 years or so, this is an original Manastash, and I don't know if I ever pronounced that correctly. Manastash is a branch of Young Maven. I just noticed that I saw a post that they opened up a Manastash store in Japan, which was pretty. That's pretty neat. The Japanese love hemp, and so I love to see that they're still embracing Young Maven products, no matter what name brand it is. My pants, part of those are just natural. Again, classic. Like almost everything I have on today it could be 25 years old, pretty close, at least half maybe. My pants definitely Green Springs Technology pen in the pocket there, maybe only 10 years old. My briefs are Hempest. My socks, which are probably the newest thing, those are Terra. You have to find it now. Terramar Crew Trail socks, and then a good old pair of Adidas Sambas, getting me where I need to go with this fine outfit. So there's classic. There's at least 3 classic clothes items shown right there on the "What Are You Wearing" Beach segment here on the High Noon Hemp Show. So hard to say. Head to toe, it hasn't been as long, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, we want to know if you have any if you have a hemp pants record yet.
I don't have a hemp pants record. I keep talking about it. I've talked about it on the show. I believe that that is a great idea. I'm gonna start the. I'm actually gonna do that, and I'm gonna start it in probably around March, so I can transition from hemp pants to hemp shorts, and so we'll just call it like hemp bottom wear record. And so, yes, that will be the next record that I set. I don't break hemp records. I set hemp records. I want to get that straight. Okay. I don't know of any hemp records out there that I actually have to break. I have set the records. So that's a good advice. And I need to do socks. I probably should go ahead and start the hemp pants one by doing a different outfit every day, so I can set that record and then set the pants record and probably the briefs record, underwear, socks, all that, and go ahead and get those records set. I can do it so that Earth Day falls in there, or maybe start on Earth Day. That's not a bad idea either. That could be my goal. Although it'd be harder to get the pants in, I think, because then we're going to be getting into the summer. But I can still do it. I can do it. So that's not a bad idea either. To start to set those records on Earth Day. I'm going to put some thought to that too. There is no better friend to Earth Day than hemp, as there is no better friend to the environment agriculturally than hemp. We know this. All right. Well, I've been promising for 5 years a new hemp trailer for a movie that will never get made. But here it is, folks. This is a new hemp trailer, not dated at all.
छाया आसमां में, देखो झूमता गगन, हे छाया आसमां में, देखो झूमता गगन, मुझे छू गया झूमता गगन, मेरे झूम ले जहां, ये कैसा नशा प्यार का समा, रही समा झूमे आसमां, होश तो खोले प्यार तू ले ले संग मेरे झूम जा, कैसा नशा होश है कहाँ, होश तो खोले प्यार तू ले ले संग मेरे झूम जा.
Nope. Says you've muted yourself.
Lie. That's a gosh darn lie. I don't know why it muted me. Oh, yeah, get your passport to Hemptations. I love it. It's very fun. It's exciting. I call that hempy wood. I'll put that in the category of hempy wood trailers. And when I say wood, I mean WOULD, because hemp wood, hempy wood, it does. All right. Well, let's get this news going here. Some interesting stuff going on in the old hemp world. So, cannabinoid. This is a cannabinoid, one that none of us probably have ever heard of. Is quinone HU331. And it is going to be studied for its anti-cancer therapeutic value. It has shown in mice already that it can reduce both colon cancer and cell leukemia tumors, and it was very successful at doing this. So human trials are next. So we're once again looking at a very little known. If you've heard of quinone HU331, well then you are definitely a cannabis genius. And now you've heard of it, and so you can go spread your cannabis genius to the world. No, but we believe this science has said that there's 500, 600, almost 600 different components between the cannabinoids and the terpenes and the alcohol and all the things that make up the profile of cannabis, the flower, I should say, when we're using it for therapeutic value. And we've been really focusing recently on the terpenes. I said this year was probably going to be kind of maybe the year of the terpenes, where we start to see terpenes being focused on more for their therapeutic value than, say, their flavor profiles that they provide to cannabis. But what we can know is because they have those flavor profiles that, okay, you take a hit of cannabis and it tastes like pine, then it probably has pinene, the terpene pinene. Pinene does this. There are a lot of, we're discovering probably 15 to 20 terpenes, and some of these terpenes cross over. Some of the terlimonene is also found in orange and citrus peels. So the more that we find out what we can do with that, the more that we can use that on the, I don't know what citrus peels like. I mean, I can't believe that it could be waste in the citrus world, but I don't know what they do with once they've squished it and gotten all the stuff they want out of it. And so, it's just knowing that the terpenes have value, and then knowing that other plants have these terpenes adds the value to the other plants that maybe we haven't been looking at. We've only thought about them as, flavonoids, so to speak, maybe in food. But this is, human trials. Once we get the human trials going and showing the proof, then once again we can. It's more proof that, I remember, and they don't stick to this defense anymore because 80% of the country is medical. But, back before Proposition 215 passed in California in 1996, the argument from the conservative people was, oh, they just want to legalize it as medicine so that they can smoke it, which, is half true. Is because we want to smoke it for medicine. Yeah. But the fact is that we had so much the public had so much to go on its therapeutic value that once again we now have 80% of the country says this is a medicine. The only people that don't think it's a medicine are a very small amount of states and the federal government, because as long as it's still on the controlled substance list for whatever reason, and that's cannabis itself. Industrial hemp is not on the controlled substance list, so that's not an issue. So we can breed low THC cannabis flower, once again, up in the CBD, up in the CBG, up in the CBN, and then put in, that terpene profile that we know may do something to give a bonus. If there's terpenes that are uplifting, then they should be paired with CBG. If there are terpenes that are more on the sleep aid side of things, then they should be paired with CBN flower. And I have said, and it is true, that cannabis is the most genetically modified through breeding agricultural crop ever in the history of mankind, we're not even close to being done. Because again, once we figure out all these little pieces, and we put them all in the right places, there are millions of different types of therapeutic cannabis when you look at it like that. If you can mix and match over 600 ingredients, the amount of different things you can make is practically endless. And so, that I think that the next round of industrial hemp flower, and hopefully they take out these new parts of the farm bill before they sign it, because it's really going to make it harder to do this. But the next round of industrial hemp flower that we see being bred is going to be just that, specific for CBD, CBN, CBG, and then again, terpene profile, and some other things, still regulating that THC. Yep, it's the future, and there's so much more of it out there. So, just as I have suspected and talked about, okay, because of California's hemp ban, now the marijuana industry in California is getting into hemp farming because they can use the products. That's why they don't like industrial hemp, because of intoxicating hemp. And just like I said, well, why not just get into the market? Because just like I said, the medical and the recreation people are now going to grow and harvest industrial hemp and get the THC out of it, or the THCA, or whatever, and put it towards their products, edibles, things like that, even the THCA flower. And again, it can be 100% federally legal as industrial hemp. And then they control that market, which is exactly what they wanted. I mean, and again, this just proves that the product shouldn't have been taken away, because you're just now you're just letting the marijuana industry get rich on an industry that the CBD industry built. CBD, industrial hemp flower, built this intoxicating hemp market. And because it's close to, if not directly in competition with, the marijuana markets, the marijuana markets are lobbying against it. They're fighting against it. Okay. And again, that's anti consumerism, anti capitalism, it's just not right. It's not right. And just like I said, why fight against it? Just get into the market. My products are cheaper than dispensary products. And the marijuana industry can give its customers cheaper products, or be greedy and sell them the same THC gummies that they would have bought, okay, with marijuana extracted THC, but now it's industrial hemp extracted THC, which is cheaper and 100% federally legal. Why wouldn't you get into that? Why wouldn't you be supporting the hemp farming industry for these things? Not denying that growth, but getting behind it as a business. Um, and again, I think that when any big business, I don't care what you're building, I don't care if you're building houses, your agriculture, whatever it may be, any big business that puts pressure on competition that's just as good as it, and actually tries to force it out of the market, is not only morally wrong, but ethically, it's definitely ethically wrong. But in my opinion, it's morally wrong. But I mean, at the very least, ethically wrong. Focus on your own business. Do your own thing. If there's a product out there that rivals it, then make your products just as good or better than that product. That's America. That is the United States of America at its finest. That's why, again, if you can't find something in the United States of America, then it's not made anywhere in the world. So, um, that's in all the states that are trying to make intoxicating hemp illegal. It's the marijuana industry that's pushing for it, and they should just leave it alone. Let us do our thing. And to that point, and I call this the proof is in the bottle. Cannabis is also, I read an article, cannabis is cutting into alcohol's bottom dollar, which I think we already knew, but I think it's so substantial now that the alcohol industry is having a problem with it. And the alcohol industry has lobbied against the legalization of marijuana for tens of years, a long time, if not from the beginning. Probably loved the idea of keeping marijuana illegal because they knew it would cut into their bottom dollar, as it is. And just like I told the other industry, the marijuana industry, I'll tell the alcohol industry, just get into the industry. I mean, we're seeing THC drinks everywhere. Now, again, the federal government has to lift, and they really have to take THC off the controlled substance list. But even then, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to put industrial hemp extracts in your alcohol if you want to, or just start making and bottling. And this is what we're seeing already. I should say canning, because hardly anybody bottles anymore, but canning THC drinks, seltzers, flavored, whatever it is. They are everywhere now, and there are a lot of them, like super quick. Like we've been carrying THC drinks for almost a year. There were little, and now, because it's been challenged and it's legal, it's federally legal. you've seen them. I'm seeing them everywhere, wherever I go, bars, restaurants, and we have a whole cooler full of THC drinks. So start making your own. Come up with your own. Again, most probably breweries, and how I mean, come up with like a good. How awesome would it be to have a non-alcoholic beer that had a little THC in it for those people that don't want to get drunk drinking a bunch of beer, or just don't want the alcohol, because alcohol is not good for the body long term. You can make all the arguments in the world, one drink, two drinks a day, but long term, and you know, and so, and we're definitely seeing it's just a prevailing thing in the markets across the country. We're seeing less and less of definitely this younger generation that's coming in now. I don't know what we call them. I don't know what their name is, but they are definitely less interested in alcohol. And then, there's even, once again, an older generation in these states where now the cannabis is legal and they don't, have to worry about talking about it as much or buying it or finding it or all those things. They're looking less towards drinking alcohol. And so what really goes to show you is, without prohibition, people are going to choose cannabis over alcohol. And it's, 90% better and safer and healthier for everyone. For everyone. There's no doubt in my mind about that either. Oh, here's I was talking about other plants having terpenes, but there is a common Brazilian plant that may contain actual CBD. Now, we've seen this before, and then it got proven otherwise. We have seen one other scientist say that they were extracting CBD from a different plant, and that it just wasn't true. um, so now this plant, Trema, often considered a weed, it's going to be studied as to whether it's feasible to farm and extract. And so now they're going to actually, see how much CBD they can actually get from a plant, obviously, and whether then it's, efficient enough to harvest it and get the CBD out of it. Now, again, in this article, and I think I just mentioned, and I'm pretty sure Brazil was one of the countries that actually just legalized industrial hemp. In the article, they said that hemp was not legal to grow, but I think just within the last month, Brazil has in fact legalized industrial hemp farming. So, whether they need to, this would probably be a good way to get rid of this weed. If you tell people, hey, go collect me, 50 pounds of the weed and I'll pay you for it. Then, you're going to help extract the weed from the wild. I don't know if that's valuable or worth it or not. And then, they're going to see whether it's worth it enough to grow an acre of it and how much CBD can you get out of that. On the other part, 100% reverse, Poland. Good old Poland may classify non-intoxicating hemp and CBD, which would be CBD, as a narcotic. And so that's CBG, CBN, CBD. Those are all the non-intoxicating hemp extracts that we know have therapeutic value. We're proving more and more every day have therapeutic value. Our customers are showing have therapeutic value. So apparently Poland doesn't want to do its due diligence when it comes to the difference in what's what. So they're just going to outlaw basically all flower extracts. So if you're in Poland, rise up, tell them that's just ridiculous,
That's right.
freaking ridiculous, um, and see what you can come up with. But yeah, that's a terrible step backwards. Anytime a country wants to outlaw CBD, it's like, what world do you live in? And of course, it is outlawed in some countries. Definitely the Emirate states, Dubai, all those places. Don't go there. There are humans send 2 to 10 year sentences for having just CBD, because they brought it in with them to the country and they got caught with it. So there are plenty of countries where it's not legal, but reversing things by saying that you want to make it illegal is that's going backwards for sure. No surprise here. After positive results from a clinical study, an orally ingested CBD drug looking to get approved by the FDA for autism spectrum disorder. We've had a lot of customers that, probably more customers than any that actually contacted me after they used our CBD products to help with their autistic children. I have an email from one particular parent somewhere. It's very old, 15 years ago, because I don't know, probably at least 10 years ago. We've been carrying CBD way before the Agricultural Act of 2013. But at least 10 years ago, probably once it was legalized anyway, I'm going to guess this happened, that basically their autistic child began to speak, and their life became so much better once they worked out that perfect dosage, daily dosage for their autistic child. And so this one doesn't surprise me at all. But this one, this is legitimate. They're making a bid to be the second cannabis derived medicine approved by the FDA, and CBD specifically, with that, because again, the FDA is not going to legalize or approve a THC Delta 9 based medicine. There are two synthetics that are approved, two synthetic Delta 9 drugs in the world that were approved. But the real Delta 9 has never been approved by the FDA for a drug. And again, so there are three cannabis related drugs. Two are synthetic Delta 9. One is the CBD Epidiolex, the inhaler, which was the first the FDA approved for children. Now, I would only guess that the autism spectrum disorder, which obviously affects you all your life, has a lot of children involved with the taking of these medicines. So if it does get approved, it would just go to show you that I don't know why the FDA is telling us that CBD isn't safe for the average human when they're clearly saying it's safe for children. Things that make you go, Anyway, and then I did see that someone had written an article somewhere that said that the FDA says CBD is illegal, but doesn't act on that. And what I have to say to that is it's not their job to say whether something is illegal or not. It's their job to say whether something is safe or not. Okay. Now, it might be, and again, what's illegal is making claims that the FDA hasn't backed up and things like that. And you can be held accountable for. But if the FDA hasn't approved jiggly berries, I'm just making that up, that doesn't mean that they're illegal to eat. Okay. The DEA would have to make jiggly berries. And again, it's not even the FDA, it's the Congress. Congress would have to vote to add jiggly berries to the controlled substance list. And then the DEA would go after you, not the FDA anyway. And so it's not, that's not how it all works. Just because something is not approved by the FDA doesn't mean that it's illegal. It just means that we can't make any claims on it. And until the government makes it illegal, which they tend to do, that doesn't change anything. Article 3 must know anti-inflammatory ingredients ideal for aging skin. The three are CBD, turmeric, and CoQ10. Of course, CBD is on there because we know how great it is. And again, I think you should just add hemp oil. Again, we put our CBD in hemp oil because both are great for these things. It should be a combined category. Like it should be hemp, and then it should actually say hemp oil extracted from the grain, and CBD extracted from the hemp flower. It's different. And again, it did say that CBD was good internally and topically. When you use it topically, it stays where you put it. So if you put it on your wrinkles here or wherever you might have inflammation and a lot of pain, from my understanding, is caused by inflammation. Not a doctor. Just saying. I believe that's the case. It's pretty well known. Do your own research if you want. And so I think that's why, once again, we keep showing more and more proof through studies that CBD is, in fact, good for inflammation. Not approved by the FDA for anti-inflammation properties, but still works. Can't take that away. Here's an article on drywall substitutes. And I think I sent a picture over some hempcrete. Here we go. And it included hempcrete. And these are kind of some samples there on the wall. But they say durable stone-like material with amazing insulation and soundproofing properties, unbothered by termites, fires, and mold or mildew, no mold or mildew issues. And I've been seeing a lot of, and I haven't really brought it up on the store, but I really hope that, as they're thinking about rebuilding out in California with the wildfires, or if you're thinking about building a house anywhere that's going to be close to or possible to have wildfires, or you're concerned about your house burning down. Some people really freak out about that. I would if I was, I'm pretty happy. I don't think my house is going to burn down. But if I was really, really worried about it, then I would build a hempcrete house. Impervious to fire. If you have not seen it, there is a YouTube video of a hempcrete wall that took on continuous fire and a burner burning on the wall for, I think it was over 7 hours. And the video, if you really want to watch it, the whole 7 hours, play it a day. You want to watch some paint dry? Let's watch to see if this hempcrete wall is ever going to catch on fire with direct flame. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. They really stopped the experiment because I think they ran out of butane to run the burner. But this is definitely a substance. Tell Governor of California, here's yet another reason why we should be growing hemp, and you're trying to destroy growing hemp in California. And so there it is, yes. And of course, we know all these things. It's just more proof. And we're just seeing so much more in the construction world of people saying, you should be using this. And, like I said, I send the memes, the memes, whatever you call them, of, Hey, California, if you're rebuilding, rebuild with hempcrete. It's fireproof, and it's true. I don't know why you wouldn't want to rebuild with a fireproof substance. Is there going to be another fire like this soon? No. Could there be another fire like this in 5 or 10 years? Probably. Probably. And so, why not prepare yourself now, no matter where you are? I mean, if wildfires are something that even is on your mind, then build with hempcrete. If you're going to build a house in the middle of the woods, build with hempcrete. And so use hempcrete for the insulation, which would then make it. The funny thing about that is, I got a cat outside. Hold on, folks. Pause one moment while I let the cat in.
A cat interruption for the show.
Come on, Billy, come on.
Yeah.
You come in.
A cat rescue almost. There you go. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Back to the race. It's good. So the cats are enjoying this warmer weather. They've been cooped up too long, so we've been letting them out. But so anyway, how about I look at the new, finally a hemp Nike that actually has hemp on it, because you will see, and it's not a whole lot of hemp, just so you know, but you'll see hemp as a colorway a lot when describing Nike shoes, because they also use hemp. The only hemp here is up by where the shoelaces are tied, that little side panel there. It is hemp canvas, and so not only do they call this a hemp colorway, but it actually does have some hemp in it. If we could replace most of these, we have seen hemp suede and hemp leather. So they could really make that suede leather pieces out of hemp if they want to. I mean, it's endless, the fiber material that we can make out of hemp, and so you can put the whole shoe together. It's good Nike's finally using at least a little bit of hemp in their shoes. And this is probably the fourth shoe I've seen just this year that have used hemp in the description, but only this pair actually has hemp in them. It's just the color. And they love to describe them as a hemp colorway now. Which is kind of fun, but also kind of misleading. Because if I go to buy a pair of hemp Nikes, I want them to be made out of hemp. I don't want them to be hemp in color. I don't want a leather pair of Nikes that just happen to be hemp colored. That's not what I'm looking for. Nor should anyone. Ow! Ow, kitty! Whoa! Dang! She really wants some attention. Jumping up on me. Crazy cat. I'll have to get it some CBD. Cats love CBD. You can calm that cat down. New Mexico is going after intoxicating hemp. Why? Oh, because marijuana operator Ultra Health complained. This, I can't even imagine. But these, supposedly they're one of the bigger players. Ultra Health, they call themselves. I have to check out, who or what they really are in the cannabis world. But obviously they're a major player in the marijuana industry. If not just in New Mexico, probably all over, everywhere. And of course now they're seeing this intoxicating hemp might be cutting into their millions and millions of dollars that they're making. So once again, hey, Ultra Health, get involved in hemp. Grow your own hemp. Don't complain about the fact that there's another business just as good as yours. That's just as good as all the other ones that are making millions of dollars. Do something about it yourself, or whatever. And again, it's moving forward. We've always tried to move forward. I don't pay attention to anything else. I just want to have what I have, best products I can give the world. Again, if you're offering the best products you can give the world, and there's somebody else out there that's competing with you, well, they're also offering the best products in the world, or they wouldn't be competing with you. I mean, if your ideology is you have the best products in the world, and then you're afraid of some other products, well, guess what? They must have some pretty darn good products too. So, is it right for you to lobby and try to make their business illegal? Not at all. I've already brought this up once in the show today, so I'm not going to talk about it too much more. But this is the exact same thing. This is one industry saying, "Hey, here's another industry that competes with us because they have something that's just as good as us. We should put them out of business." Well, go ahead and try. Everybody tries. Walgreens has been trying to put CVS out of business for years. That's just one example. But actually, that's not even the truth because they're just trying to sustain on their own business. And they're everywhere everywhere else this week because that's where the business is. Just like grocery stores and all the other ones. And all those products that are stocked in those shelves are owned by very few companies around the world. And what do? They do the same kind of thing. And I think this is not be legal as they find out a food product is competing with their food product. So they buy the business, and they buy the business with two intentions of either keeping that business going and then having that as a line of their foods, or stopping production of that particular food so that they can just keep making money on their things. And that's the semi common practice in the world today, is to buy a business that's competing with you and not incorporate it into your own business, just shut it down. You buy it to shut it down. It should not be legal either. Ethically, that is, once again, just ridiculous. Now, of course, the sellers cannot sell, and so it's up to them. It's their business. They, I mean, in the capitalist world, it's totally up to them, and that's how a lot of business gets started. They are starting a business just in hopes that the big business will come along and say, "Hey, you've got such a good product that we think either dipping into our product line or dipping into our bottom dollar. We want to buy you." Sometimes it goes well, and most of the time it doesn't for that particular product because they just take it out of circulation, so it's no longer in competition. Make a product similar, or put it in their own can. Once they've bought that, whatever it is, drink or food, I would only guess they could conceivably just put it in their own bag and then whatever. So, but this whole marijuana attack on hemp is just freaking ridiculous. Again, it's like they're mad at us because we were the first cannabis that got re-legalized from the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937. Okay, because we were all together, all the cannabis, whether you called it hemp or you called it, and again, no one called it marijuana until the government and the media called it marijuana. But it didn't make any difference. In 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act made it all illegal. Now, move forward to 2013, and industrial hemp is made legal, but not taken off the controlled substance list. So still it's not until 2018, really. Okay. So 91 years later, no, not 81, 81 years later, hemp is taken off the controlled substance list, being the first cannabis to be removed basically from the original Marijuana Tax Act that became the controlled substance list in 1969, where they changed the spelling of marijuana, which is also quite ironic as to everything. Anyway, let's just check out what hemp did. 2023, we planted almost 28,000 acres. And I don't know if this is one state or this is all the states. I have to go and look at this because it seems like that's not a whole lot for all the states to have grown. Maybe it was just this one state. And anyway, the value was at 291 million of wherever this was. This 28,000 was valued at about 291 million dollars, which worked out to be about $10,000 per acre, if I'm doing all this math right. And this was all USDA calculated required information. I say this because I think they're about to release the USDA inquiry to states, South Dakota for sure, and hopefully all the states. I think all 50 states. If you grow hemp, hopefully you can get in on this survey. Why you grew it, how much you got. Just to keep it all good, I should say. So, we'll see. We'll see. I think we're in the transition phase of growing mostly for CBD into growing more for fiber and grain. We're kind of starting to transition into what I would have believed to be the first real push for industrial hemp, but CBD kind of surprised us all. It even took me by surprise. And again, at that point, we had been selling CBD that we were importing. Companies were importing from mostly China at the time. And again, it was legal because it was extracted from industrial hemp. And the law clearly said if it comes from hemp, it's hemp, when you're importing it. And so, the success of those products, which were really expensive and then started to come down more and more, kind of drew more than anything the legalization of industrial hemp, where now we need to be growing for the fiber and the grain more and more and more and more every day. So here's an opposite one. Florida seems to be, and I can't believe this, the opposite when it comes to this hemp marijuana battle, because marijuana has so much more money than hemp when it comes down to it. That fighting these things makes it a lot harder on the hemp industry to fight off the marijuana industry. But in Florida, they actually removed a bill for medical marijuana home grow. So this bill was trying to make home grow legal in Florida for medical marijuana. But it got pulled because it had hemp restrictions in it. So they were trying to actually restrict intoxicating hemp in this medical marijuana home grow. And the government, luckily, they said, no, we're not going to. So they removed it, and I think they're going to try to now pass this medical marijuana home grow. Hope you guys get that in Florida, so that you can, grow your hemp at home if you want to. Either way, which you can do. I don't know if you can do that now under Florida. I know that Florida is very hemp friendly, and in fact, one of the reasons they say, not just because they had to get 60% of the vote to pass their last legalization, which they didn't get for the second time because that's just shady. They got over 50%, which is the majority in these silly laws in Florida. But they really give DeSantis's what should I say? Friendship with hemp, the reason why the marijuana didn't pass. And of course, he's very conservative. So there you have it. Good for Florida. Florida's continuing to actually finally do the same right things. And there was, for a while there, it was really tricky because they did change some hemp things, but they did it okay. It was age restrictions and the packaging. I know there's still minimal amounts of this and that you can have in your hemp, THC wise, but it's not illegal. It's not banned. All right, let's take a look at the hemp plant in Ukraine. This should be opening in the spring of this year. I think they're putting the final touches in it. And of course, the Ukraine. Am I the only one here?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
I was like, what happened? Where'd you go? I'm just looking at myself, which I think is normal with it. I feel like I was just talking to myself there. um, so anyway, Ukraine has been a huge grower of hemp. I mentioned last week when I was at NOCO years ago, I actually got to sit on, and I rode it down an aisle and turned around a hemp bike, the whole bike composite. I want to find that picture. I came across it recently. I'll get it on the show because I've been talking about it so much. But obviously, hemp processing is very important to the Ukraine. They're building this new plant. They're going to open the doors with about 200 employees and be able to process over 4,500 tons of hemp in the first years. And they're going to be doing fiber, yarn, textiles. And it's funny because they had skewers, and they had it in quotes, and they said that they didn't know how to translate what they were saying. So I don't know what a skewer is, but they're going to make them out of hemp in Ukraine, and that was the best translation they could come up with. So I'm going to have to do some research there. But the real goal is to eventually process up to 12,000 tons in a year and have up to 700 employees. And so, you know, grow hemp for the war. I'm sure is something that even the Ukraine is. Not that it's really a war movement. I think it's a food staple. It's it is a war movement. It's not as much for the fiber as it was in World War II. Hemp for victory, grow hemp for the war was the slogan, because it was imperative to parachutes and uniforms. The riggings. Not that we had sails on ships anymore, but the rigging, the rope, giant ropes, we still moored those huge vessels. Were made out of hemp. And someday I'm going to go near a government, a big ship, even if it's been decommissioned, and just see if it's tied, moored up with hemp rope. I know I'll be able to tell the difference. And so, that's something I've never done. Military ships don't do a whole lot for me. But the next time I'm somewhere where I might be able to just walk down a dock and see an old moored military ship, I'm going to check and see if it's tied up with hemp rope or not. I think they mostly kind of switched over to synthetic, but old ships, honestly, there's zero reason why old ships would not still be using the hemp line rigging that they would have been using then, even if it is just to tie the ships up to the dock to moor the ships. All right, that's all the news fit to print. Events, we got some events to talk about. February 4th, again, first Tuesday of the month coming up, is the medical marijuana meetup here in Cincinnati at the Kerrigan Spirits Company from 8 to 11. And again, the reason I promote this is because I go to represent hemp. I am one of the hemp representatives, and there are all kinds of facets of people that show up. It's a great event. Great, probably the best local cannabis event that I know of, without a doubt. So, February 6th, if you're in South Dakota, the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum and the South Dakota Industrial Hemp Association will present The Future of Hemp. And this is in Brookings, South Dakota. Don't know where that is, but I'm sure you can look it up. This is something, again, if you're in South Dakota and you want to figure out or learn about hemp or the future of hemp, it might be kind of interesting. April 10th through the 12th, we got NOCO out at Estes Park, Colorado. So start making plans for that. The largest hemp expo, definitely United States, probably world, when it comes to actually all things hemp, because it is hemp. And you can go to NOCO Hemp Expo online to get more information, get your tickets, make yourself some. Find out. It's at it is at a hotel event place in Estes Park, so you can stay right there if you want. And there are plenty of cannabis friendly places to stay around there either way. And then October 3rd, it's a stretch away, but something you may want to think about is the Hemp Building Symposium. And these are huge. These are huge, and I think more of them go on in the fall after the harvest, but a lot I think we start to see more in the summer. But this is on the Lower Sioux Indian community, and I know that I reported on them building um, some of their first hemp houses on the reservation, and this is all a project to build um, uh, environmentally friendly hemp houses out of hemp they have grown. Again, this is kind of a closed. They're trying to be as closed loop with this as I think as they can, and in doing so, are learning a lot about building with hempcrete and things like that. And so, I am sure that there will be more hempcrete events that I'll keep you. I think that's the one. That's the one thing about events that or those are the events that I still think will be around are building with hempcrete type events. So, all right, there you have it. Thanks everybody for watching this week's High Noon Hemp Show. I am Beach. There is Stoner Jesus. We will be back next Wednesday at high noon for another episode. I believe it's is it the final episode of the season?
It will be. Yes. Final episode of season 24.
Ooh, final episode of season 24, my favorite number. I'm going to have to make this exciting. Anyway, maybe if I just use that voice for the show, it'll be different. Hemp speaks for itself. I don't have to change my voice for hemp. Remember, folks, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having hemptations.
See you all next week.